King Harris, the son of Atlanta rap legend T.I., was driving his blue BMW one afternoon when police spotted him making an illegal turn. Officers initiated a traffic stop, not realizing he also had an active warrant for his arrest on other charges. What unfolded next was all captured on body camera.
Final stop 4280 North Beach Street.
32. Could you show me on a traffic stop prior?
Go ahead.
Ashford Dunwoody Road in Mount Vernon, copy, Georgia Tech. Hey, how you guys doing? Good, good. I stopped you because you crossed.
In October 2024, a BMW pulled out of a gas station and nearly collided with a police cruiser. What happened next would validate a father's worst fears and potentially cost a young man 5 years of his life. This is the story of King Harris, son of rap legend, and how a pattern of ignored warnings led to a moment that could change everything. Today, we're breaking down the complete timeline of King Harris's legal troubles, examining the warning signs that were ignored for years and exploring what this means for both him and his famous father. This isn't just another celebrity gossip story. It's a real-life case study in consequences, family dynamics, and the price of living under the spotlight. October 2024 marked a turning point in King Harris's story. Driving his BMW out of a gas station, the 20-year-old nearly collided with a police vehicle. What seemed like a simple traffic stop quickly escalated when officers detected the smell of marijuana and spotted a firearm on King's person. The arrest footage, which later went viral across social media platforms, shows a surprisingly calm King Harris being detained. Officers found him carrying a gun and discovered marijuana in his possession. But the real problem wasn't what they found that day, it was what they found when they ran his name through the system. King had an outstanding warrant dating back to 2022. The charges: speeding, driving with a suspended license, and DUI. Instead of appearing in court as required, King had simply ignored the legal process. That decision, made 2 years earlier, came back to haunt him in the worst possible way. The 30-minute arrest video spread like wildfire online. First Badge Chronicles picked it up, then Vlad TV, then countless other platforms. What struck many viewers was King's demeanor. He wasn't fighting or screaming. He appeared resigned, almost as if he knew this moment was inevitable. King Harris now faces up to 5 years in prison. The combination of the 2022 warrant and the new charges from the October incident has created a legal storm that could fundamentally alter his life trajectory. 2 years before King's arrest, T.I. went live on Instagram with a message that now feels eerily prophetic. Speaking directly about his son, the rapper didn't mince words. His ass going to prison if he keep that stuff up. Ain't no way around it. Ain't nothing I'm going to be able to do about it. Can't nobody stop it but him. This wasn't just parental concern, it was experience talking. T.I. himself had navigated federal cases, street conflicts, and the criminal justice system. He understood the trajectory his son was on because he had lived a similar path decades earlier. Perhaps most heartbreaking was T.I.'s admission during that live stream. I've already had that conversation. I've already made my peace with it because I know that energy. I was that energy. I know exactly how it's going to turn out. T repeatedly emphasized that time is going to be his teacher. He couldn't force his adult son to make better choices, but he knew that consequences would eventually catch up. That prediction has now materialized in the most literal way possible. The rapper's public warnings highlighted the unique challenge of celebrity parenting, trying to guide your child while the entire world watches and judges every family interaction. T chose transparency over privacy, hoping that public accountability might reach his son where private conversations had failed. When King's arrest footage went viral,
Present you before any questioning if you wish. You can decide at any time to exercise these rights and not answer any of my questions or make any statements.
social media users immediately connected it to T.I.'s 2022 warnings. Some accused the father of speaking his son's downfall into existence, while others praised him for seeing the situation clearly and trying to intervene. King's public meltdowns began gaining attention in 2022 with the infamous Waffle House incident. Video footage showed him in a heated argument with restaurant staff, displaying what many viewers interpreted as entitled behavior. The confrontation was unnecessary and disproportionate, exactly the kind of incident that foreshadowed bigger problems.
So my question to you is, I found just a non-felony amount of weed In that ashtray in the back, as well as in that basketball sleeve. So I'm gonna go over here and talk to these guys, and someone has to get charged with it. It's not your weed?
I'm not talking.
You're not gonna talk to me? I gotcha. Do you have any questions for me?
I don't.
Do you need anything to go with you?
My phone.
Your phone? Where's your phone at?
Your car.
We're in the car.
You searched me.
I'm not looking for phones, I'm looking for drugs and guns.
As me know my phone.
What kind of phone is it?
What color is your phone?
It's a PlayStation.
121 check. Do you want to send me a message, please?
Following the Waffle House incident, T.I. went live expressing genuine confusion about his son's behavior. "I don't even understand why he stopped what he was doing just to argue with a short-order cook," he said. This public admission revealed how even King's own father was struggling to understand his choices. Perhaps the most telling incident occurred when T.I. and fellow rapper Boosie had to intervene during their son's music video shoot. King and Boosie's son Tootie Raw were filming with guns prominently displayed, treating weapons like props rather than understanding their legal implications. The footage of both fathers checking their sons went viral for the right reasons. T.I. could be heard asking, "Why y'all even carrying guns when you got girls right here?" It was a teachable moment about how easily situations can escalate and how weapons charges can destroy lives. T.I. explicitly told King and the other young men that one wrong move with a gun or even drugs in the wrong place could get them locked up fast. He was literally providing a roadmap for avoiding the mistakes that had complicated his own career. But the message didn't seem to register. Throughout this period, King continued posting content that raised eyebrows, flashing money, making references to street activities, and generally projecting an image that didn't match his privileged reality. Each post seemed to be pushing boundaries rather than building a legitimate public persona. Looking back, these incidents weren't isolated mistakes. They were part of a clear pattern of escalating behavior. Each incident was slightly more serious than the last, building toward the kind of legal trouble that T.I. had explicitly warned about. In November 2024, just weeks before his legal troubles intensified, King Harris became a father himself. The birth of his son seemed to represent a potential turning point, a chance for growth, responsibility, and renewed focus. King shared the news proudly on social media. November 5th, 8:09 a.m. Welcome King Jr., time to take over. He even released a song called Dear Son, seemingly embracing the role of fatherhood and the responsibilities that came with it. For a brief moment, many observers thought parenthood might be the catalyst King needed. Historically, becoming a father has motivated many young men to reassess their priorities and make better choices. The timing seemed perfect for a redemption story. Instead of celebrating his new role as a father, King found himself facing potential separation from his newborn son. The possibility of a 5-year prison sentence meant missing crucial early years of his child's development, the same years when bonding and presence matter most. The situation created a painful parallel for T.I., who had worked hard to break cycles and provide better opportunities for his children. Watching his son potentially repeat similar mistakes, despite having advantages T.I. never had, represented a unique form of parental heartbreak. King's relationship with his child's mother, known as Big Nana, had already attracted public scrutiny due to their age difference and speculation about her motivations. The legal troubles added another layer of complexity to an already controversial situation. The timing highlighted the fundamental tension in King's life, the desire for street credibility versus the responsibilities of fatherhood. These competing priorities were now on a collision course, with legal consequences forcing a resolution. What made this situation particularly tragic was how close King had come to potentially turning his life around. Becoming a father could have been his motivation to mature and make better choices. Instead, past decisions ensured that this positive development was overshadowed by legal consequences. T.I. found himself in an impossible situation, simultaneously supporting his son while acknowledging the validity of the consequences King was facing. As a father, he wanted to protect his child. As someone who had lived through similar experiences, he understood that accountability was necessary. The internet's reaction revealed how celebrity parenting is always performed under a microscope. Some blamed T.I. for King's choices, arguing that despite all his guidance and warnings, he had somehow failed as a father. This criticism ignored the reality that parents can't control their adult children's decision. Others defended T.I., pointing out that he had consistently tried to guide King, had been transparent about the potential consequences, and had even intervened publicly multiple times. The idea that any parent can guarantee their child's choices was challenged by this very public situation. An important element often overlooked in discussions was King's own agency. At 20 years old, he was an adult making conscious decisions, while family influence and guidance mattered. Ultimately, each person is responsible for their own choices and consequences. Being T.I.'s son created unique pressures. King had to navigate between living up to his father's success and establishing his own identity. The desire to prove himself independent of his father's reputation may have contributed to some of his more reckless choices. T had multiple children, most of whom hadn't faced similar legal troubles. This reality made King's situation even more complex. It wasn't simply a case of bad parenting, but rather highlighted how different children can respond to the same environment in drastically different ways. Despite the legal troubles, King had advantages many defendants don't have: financial resources for quality legal representation, a support system, and public platform that could potentially aid in rehabilitation and second chances. King's story reflects broader challenges facing children of celebrities, particularly in hip-hop culture. The tension between privilege and street credibility, between family expectations and personal identity, creates unique psychological pressures that can manifest in self-destructive behavior. The role of social media in amplifying every mistake cannot be understated. King's errors became public entertainment, creating feedback loops where bad decisions generated attention, potentially encouraging more attention-seeking behavior. From a legal standpoint, King's case highlights how outstanding warrants can compound relatively minor infractions into major legal problems. His 2022 decision to skip court transformed what might have been manageable consequences into a potential 5-year sentence. The case raises questions about how society views redemption, accountability, and the responsibilities that come with privilege. King had opportunities and resources that most people in similar legal situations lack, making his choices particularly scrutinized. There's ongoing debate about whether King's high-profile legal troubles will serve as a deterrent to other young people in similar situations, or whether the attention and notoriety might actually encourage copycat behavior. King's case highlights broader questions about the criminal justice system's approach to young adults. Given his new role as a father and the potential for positive change, there are legitimate questions about whether prison time serves justice better than alternative forms of accountability. King Harris stands at a crossroads that will define the rest of his life. The legal proceedings ahead will determine whether he faces the full 5-year sentence or receives an opportunity for a different path forward. This story offers several important lessons: the compounding nature of ignored legal obligations, the limits of parental influence on adult children's choices, and the way social media can amplify both mistakes and consequences. Beyond the legal implications, this situation represents real human cost: a new father potentially separated from his child, a family dealing with public scrutiny and private pain, and a young man whose future hangs in the balance. His 2022 predictions have been vindicated, but this validation comes with the pain of watching his fears materialize. His experience demonstrates that sometimes the most loving thing a parent can do is acknowledge difficult truths about their child's trajectory. King's story is far from over. Whether this becomes a cautionary tale about the consequences of reckless behavior or a redemption story about learning from mistakes remains to be determined. The next chapter will be written in courtrooms and in the choices King makes moving forward. The King Harris situation reminds us that fame and privilege don't insulate anyone from consequences. It also highlights the complexity of family relationships under public scrutiny and the ways that warning signs, when ignored, can compound into life-altering situations. What are your thoughts on this situation? Should King face the full consequences of his actions? Or should his new role as a father factor into sentencing considerations? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth coverage of stories that matter.